everyone. Your designers are here.
I'm Anita from Cedar Hill Farmhouse.
And I'm Yvonne at Stone Gable.
And I'm Kelly from My Soulful Home. And we have tips and tricks and decorating advice for you today. So let's get started. Episode 1 was a lot of fun. I learned a lot about my friends here, and we really enjoyed sharing with you. Today, we're going to talk about finding your decorating style. And we'll start out by telling you about our decorating styles and sort of how we evolved into these styles. Let's start with your decorating style, Anita. How did you get there? And what is it?
Well, do you want me to just talk about my current one or all the incredibly crazy phases I went through?
Well, the latter sounds pretty interesting, but why don't you start with where you're at right now?
Okay. It's I call it farmhouse French, and it's a mix of refined French style and rustic farm style. So it's not really country French, but it's kind of a mix of farmhouse and French. And it's something that I picked up not only from my travels to France and the south of France and Paris and so forth, but also to Round Top, which is where our farm is, going to the antique show. They would have these beautiful, like Louis XVI chairs or whatever, sitting out in a field, and there'd be like a hay bale in the background and a cow walking by, and it just really inspired me to combine the elements together.
That sounds so
beautiful.
pretty.
So beautiful. So Yvonne, where are you at these days in your decorating journey?
Well, I was called my style classic. It has a timeless feel. It has a lot of American farmhouse influence because our home is a inspired farmhouse sitting in a fields of beautiful farmland. So I like to keep things classic and things that the styles don't change, and add touches of, like I said, farmhouse. I also like a little bit of industrial style these days, but my style wasn't always like that. How about you, Kelly?
Well, I also like to think that my style has evolved into sort of a timeless look, which for me means bringing in pieces from the past, antiques, and including new pieces. And in this current house, as I mentioned in episode 1, you could call it farmhouse glam if you were forced to pick a name, because it has a bit of bling. I mean, hey, I'm in LA, right? So a little bling doesn't hurt anybody here. But always I try to have a balance, some old and new, and sort of something luxurious. And that doesn't have to be something expensive. It could just be, cloth napkins or a beautiful candle or something luxurious, but with a lived-in feel, and a little something unexpected. So that's pretty much been my style for a while. It depends. I think the architecture of my house really influences the style that I choose for the particular house. We haven't been in this home very long, but we've done a lot of work to it in the 14 months we've been here. And the house prior was more like a storybook. It still had that same timeless feel, but with different colors and different textures, but always sort of the same feel of old and new. So, Anita, now tell us about some of these madcap decorating styles you might have had in the past.
Oh, well, it's like we've said before, like my walk of shame. So it's just quite I don't know. I went through my bohemian phase where I had the purple sofa that was floral. And no, I think I had the purple floral sofa. Then I had my bohemian phase because I decided the floral was out, and so I recovered it in purple velvet, which actually now is, I think, kind of hot again.
Actually, that sounds beautiful.
So,
wow.
And wow. These kind of Moroccan lights in the room.
Were you wearing caftans at the time and a headdress or something? I love it.
No, but that sounds lovely.
Well, definitely comfortable.
Anita, that doesn't sound like you at all.
Wow. I want to know what Kevin thought of that look.
He just would come home and shake his head. I don't know. He just everything. But you got to give the man credit. I mean, he comes in, and your husbands are probably the same. He can walk over a very large box that has been delivered to the house, or walk around it and not even mention it.
Yes, same here.
Like, what was in that?
Where did that come from? And my husband is also definitely clued into the fact that he should look behind him before he sits down, because the chair that was there yesterday might be someplace else.
That's a sign of a decorator right there. I
Yeah.
think I think for most of us, I think our styles do change. I do not want to be stuck in the 90s. I want to evolve. And I was definitely in the 90s and I had my Tuscan phase that most of us have
Oh,
gone through.
I love the Tuscan
I
phase.
know, where everything
I
was
skipped
red.
it. I skipped
Oh,
it.
Kelly, stop bragging.
I think that's because you were living in the Hamptons then. But where everything was, gold walls and red furniture and very Italian Tuscan looking, and because it was popular then. And boy did I do a 180 totally, because my house is farmhouse. I wanted it to reflect what it looked like inside, on the outside. The inside, I wanted it to have some harmony, and it was a very long, slow change with a few detours along the way. But I think those mistakes, just like looking at our hairdos in the 80s and 90s,
Oh man.
yeah, you learn from that, and you learn a little bit about yourself, and you learn about how to correct mistakes. So I think going through those different styles makes you a much more confident decorator, and a decorator who knows their own self and who wants to be more true to themselves.
Yeah, I think the red and gold, I mean, for some people that is who they really are, but I think for us, we just kind of adopted it because it was popular at the time. And so there's certainly nothing wrong with somebody who likes those colors in their home.
Absolutely.
But I think there's something to say about, following these trends. And, when you don't know what your real true style is, you're going to really adapt whatever is out there and kind of soak it up of just kind of whatever is popular at the time. And I think all three of us are about really creating your own individual style that is classic throughout the ages.
I so agree. And yeah, and I definitely take keys from the architecture of the house. So, if you have a Tuscan looking house, go for it, go all the way. But comfort, authenticity, and personality are the three things that I always now want to have in a house that I have decorated or that I'm living in. Something that feels true to you, something that kind of, when you walk through the door, kind of makes your heart flutter a little bit like, oh, that looks really good. Or just like, I'm here. This is my house. And infusing your home with personality, things that you've collected, decorating pieces that you've curated, not a banner trip to Home Goods and you just drag it, 6 carts and check out and put it all out. Something that you've taken time to
we've
put
all
together.
done that, though, right?
Do we have to admit to it, Ro?
Oh yeah, that's true. That is true. But that's really important to me, and having comfortable spaces. So authenticity, comfort, and personality. Those are the three things that I'm looking for in my home now.
Those are good. I like that.
I do too. And Kelly, I love the use of 3 words. And I think my 3 words would be curated, comfort, and also authenticity. It's got to be, your home has to reflect who you are. Or, you're thinking, whose home is this? Because it's certainly not mine. It doesn't look like me. You want a home to look like the person living in it.
So true. So those are great tips, I think, for the listeners. Anita, do you have anything that you wanted to add to that?
I think that's right. I mean, for me, I love collections, so I think part of that is including collections in your home. Mm-hmm. So whether it's dishes or kind of rustic farmhouse elements or whatever it is, I think there's you can kind of really include that in your design. And also, I think you all have really said this, but I really like a house that kind of embraces your family and friends and makes them feel welcome. So, but I think that's what you've said. I mean, that it's really about, are you comfortable in the house, and does it make everybody feel cozy and warm?
That's really good point.
Yes, and the best compliment I ever got about my home was from somebody I didn't know that well, and it was the first time they had come to my house, and it wasn't this one, it was our prior home, and she said, "It feels like your house is giving me a hug." Aww. And I said, yes, that's what I wanted it to do. So that really made me feel good, because that's what I was aiming for, and obviously it translated to somebody who was visiting. Is there a piece of furniture or an item or something that you think every home decorated in your particular current style should have? So say somebody was wanting to join you in your rustic, refined French country look, Anita. What would you suggest that they incorporate?
Oh, well, that's easy. I would say a French chair. And the thing is, it's so easy to find them, or at least where I am, I find French chairs at thrift stores, at antique stores. They're just everywhere, and you don't need to spend a lot. I found some for $100. But it's amazing what just adding one French chair to a room will do. And it doesn't even have to be one that you're going to sit in much.
Or anybody else.
Because we have had problems at our house because Mommy comes home with French antiques and then people sit on them and they break and splat.
Oh, okay, Goldilocks.
Yes,
keep off the chairs. How does somebody know if it's a French chair?
Well, I think that's a good point. And really with farmhouse French style, it doesn't actually have to be French. If it's curvy and kind of looks French to you, you can probably use it. There are a lot of Italian chairs that are curvy, and they do look very similar to French. So I don't think it has to be.
So if somebody was looking for a French chair, they're looking for a curvy chair with a wooden back and a cushioned seat? Give me some details on that.
Oh, boy. Well, I mean, the two most common French chairs that I think of are a Louis the 15th and a Louis the 16th. And a Louis the 15th has the one with and we can put this in the show notes. I'll show you which one each one is. But the 15th has a curvy style. The legs are curved. I mean, sometimes they're upholstered, sometimes they're caned or, other materials. So it doesn't really matter what material's on it, but it's kind of usually got a curvy back and then the curvy, legs. Whereas Louis the 16th, they're kind of straight legs and a little more less stylized, more. I don't want to use the word simple. I mean, it's French design, which is never simple, but more straight legs is, I guess, what I'm going to say.
Oh, I love this. I learned something. Yvonne, how about you? Same question. Thank you, Anita. That was really informative. What do you think? Something that someone would have to have in a home style like yours. If someone looked at your blog and said, this is speaking to me, I want to emulate this style, this is going to work for me, it feels authentic, I'm going to infuse it with my personality, and it's so comfortable, what would you tell that person they needed to have?
Well, they'd probably want something classic and something farmhouse. And for something classic, I would say you can't go wrong with neutrals. I'm just such a big fan of neutrals anymore because you can add color to it. But as a base, like your bigger pieces of furniture, your investment pieces, neutrals that will stand the test of time, that are very classic and classic lines, very comfortable. You want things that are comfortable. Pillows are just, I'm so addicted to pillows. They're just like jewelry for a room. And then if you want to throw in some farmhouse, I would say find something or do it yourself, a painted chippy piece of furniture. It just brings so much warmth and charm and life into a room, and also maybe throwing in a little bit of burlap. I don't overdo the burlap, but lampshades are a wonderful place to put burlap. How about you, Kelly?
Great. I love burlap lampshades too. That's a great point. And and you don't really want to overdo anything, right? Because then it looks like, just like anything, you're trying too hard, or, you don't want too much of one thing, or too many signature pieces. You don't want big earrings and a big necklace and a bracelet, so you choose one, right? So,
and a handbag.
And a handbag. Well, unless you're in the 80s and you were clubbing, and then you went to a great yard sale. Well, that's what I used to do. So when I was younger, I would go out to clubs at night and the evening with my girlfriend, and she was an avid yard sailor too. And we would pick up the local paper sort of early in the morning, late in the evening, and we'd hit all the yard sales before anybody else. But and that's where I ended up. I actually have antique pieces, smaller pieces. I wasn't, I was only in my early 20s. I wasn't looking for big pieces at that point, but I still have some of those pieces. So that gets to me to answer your question. If somebody was going to emulate the style that I have now, which is sort of a farmhouse with a bit of bling and rustic and refined mashup, I would have one or two really great antique pieces. And when I say antique, it doesn't have to be something, pristine that costs thousands and thousands of dollars. Just a piece with great lines. You could find this at a yard sale. You could find this in a thrift store. I go to the hospital thrift store here in Pasadena, and they clean out homes all the time, and they have the most wonderful pieces, and you can score something, quite monumental, like a big armoire or a big break front for your dining room for a couple $100. And I think it's important to have the patina of pieces like that if you're going to try to have a farmhouse rustic look. And then for me, I'm just really enamored of chandeliers these days. I can't get enough of those.
Love them.
And your home shows that you have gorgeous chandeliers. And let me just throw this in here for anyone who's listening. If you want to see these examples, we will have links to them in the show notes.
Go ahead, clean out your closet, then head straight to Quince. I love every item Quince offers, from wardrobe to decor, and I can really recommend their Ultra Stretch Super Wide Leg Pant at $49.90. The price is unbeatable, and the look is so flattering. It keeps you in on top and flares out of the bottom. Everything feels right with Quince. The price, the quality, and the sustainability. Quince offers a range of luxury wardrobe and home goods at prices within reach. And like Quince's clothing, their home goods are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. Once you've cleaned out your closet and refreshed with Quince, you can also add something to your home decor. So give your wardrobe and your home the refresh it needs with Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT. And let me know how you love those pants. Pesto pork chops over Parmesan polenta. Not that easy to say, but oh so easy to make with Green Chef. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit company for eating well, and we have such a great deal for you. You're going to save $250. Listen on for the details on that. Green Chef makes eating well easy for any lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat more balanced meals. You know, we're getting into the busy holiday season, so it's a perfect time to have Green Chef help you out. Let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season with their chef-crafted, nutritionist-approved recipes featuring fresh ingredients and nothing artificial. And you know what? You don't have to lose track of your healthy eating habits during the holidays. Every Green Chef customer gets a free session with their registered dietitians who will walk you through how to make clean eating work for you. So sign up for your free session and start on the road towards better health today. And that deal I want to tell you about, visit greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. So that's greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order.
Oh yeah, it's interesting doing this without pictures, but everybody can just visit our blogs and see what our homes look like, and it's a good exercise to be describing them with without the photos, and then people can go have a look. But yeah, it will all be in the show notes. Excellent point, Yvonne. So yeah, Yvonne.
Let me just since we're talking about these tips that we've given, let me just sum that up, because I think most of us agree, or all of us agree, that really what you want is a curated look, and that's something that is collected. That's bringing things that you love, that are authentic to you and your style, into your home. And like Anita said, you're not going to bring in 6 shopping carts from one store and plop it down. The pleasure of the hunt. That's what you sort of finding those things that you love for your home, that it's not just a canned look, that this look is you, and you really want your home to reflect that. And I just think that's such a good tip for our listening audience.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
I would like to add that I love that we're doing this by audio only, because it really pulls out just the decorating ideas that we have, and it's not specific. So much of what we talk about on our blogs, I don't think is specific to one style. And I do have people coming that saying, I don't really like farmhouse French, but I like coming to your blog. So I think it kind of pulls out, it removes the specificness of our styles, and we're just kind of focused on the tips and things that you can do that cross all styles.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a great point, and it's so true. So I just thought of something else we should cover. So if you didn't have the style that you have now, what style are you drawn to? Do you like sometimes I think, oh, if I just cleared this all out, like it would be fun to start all over. Well, I just started over in this house, so I don't really want to do that right now. I need to take a breather. But I was thinking, well, if I just had a little apartment, or if I had a little beach house, and what would I do? So, Yvonne, what would you do if you were decorating another home, or if if someone said to you, okay, you need to clear it all out today, and you're going to try this style? Which would it be?
This is my dream question.
Oh.
I wish I had 12 homes, because to be honest with you, and the funds to decorate them.
Yes.
I love so many different styles. I would love to have a beach home, because I would have so much fun decorating that whole thing in whites and aquas, and making it a little more streamlined, and clean lines, and like white sheets and white beds, and I just can picture it in my mind. And then I'd love to have an apartment, like in a loft or something, because I think mid-century, I know it's a trend, mid-century modern, and I think we're going to be doing another podcast on trends. I love the lines of mid-century modern. I can't take it in the full dose. I want, just bits and pieces of it, and I find that so beautiful. I really love very loud, bright colors. And if you look at my house, you don't see that. They're not easy to live with, but I love them. And I'd love to decorate something with, black and white check floors, and a bright green velvet sofa with lots of different prints and things done in a modern way. So as you can see, I'm just crazy about different decorating styles. So I just can't say one. So I had to say a few. How about you, Anita?
Well, I think I would like to do a place maybe in a lot of bold colors, because that's what people don't understand. I love bold colors. People think I'm allergic to them because my house is so neutral, but I went with neutrals because it was more of a timeless look, and I didn't want to be replacing my furniture all the time, because the color, I was tired of it. So that's why I like the neutrals. But I still adore color, and I would love to have one with just some splashy wallpaper. And
wallpaper.
Well, I know.
Oh,
well,
kind of gets me excited.
Oh, that's good then. Okay, I thought you were against it.
No, but it's like, ooh, wallpaper.
Right.
I think you said something so important, and I think that's maybe what we're all feeling. Just our homes, we choose to have a timeless look, because, to be honest with you, I just can't afford to keep changing them every 5 years when I get tired of them. We learned that lesson. I learned that lesson when I bought a mahogany dining room suit. And so many of people that are my age did that. And then we have to live with them for 30 years because we spent so much for them that we really couldn't afford to get rid of them and buy something else. And so I think you made a fabulous point that, just so that you can keep your furniture and it stays in style and you don't get tired of it, choosing neutrals is a good way to go, because you can add so much to it. So I agree with you 100%, Anita.
Yeah. Well, and I have a secret on that. I had the same thing with my dining room table. I know this isn't what this podcast is about, but I really wanted this brand new Restoration Hardware table, and it was the same thing. We had spent so much on that dining room table. I hemmed and hawed, finally just broke down, bought the table I wanted, sold my old one, and you know what? I made enough money in a consignment store, my take. It paid for my new table.
Good for you. Absolutely.
Well done. Yippee. No, that's a great tip too, because people who are listening might be thinking, well, gosh, I really do want to change my style, but exactly what you're saying. I paid so much for this. Oh my God, what is my husband going to say? I wanted this so badly, or and now I don't want it anymore, or it doesn't work, or we don't use it, or we don't even sit in the dining room. It's an option to contact your local consignment stores and sell it, or a Craigslist. All those sorts of things are available to us now, so it's a little bit easier than it was several years ago to get rid of your things and change your style.
And as we talk about developing our styles, I really think, and this is something that's like a mantra to me, do not spend more on the things that you put in your home than the years you're willing to keep it. And it's,
Wow.
yeah, you don't need to buy the best, because I think when you talk about styles, our tastes change. You're not wearing the same clothes that hopefully that you were 20 years ago, maybe a black dress or something like that that's timeless. But most of us do change our wardrobes. I don't look like I did. I'm not wearing the same clothes I did when I was a teen. And, our homes are the same way because they're a reflection of how we evolve. So, do you really want to spend $5,000 on a table? Because you're going to have to keep it a long, long time, and your decorating style will evolve and change. There's some things you want to spend some money on that are a little more classic, or that can sort of move in between styles, but you really want to be careful how much you spend on your furniture, because, Anita and I have learned that lesson. I had to live with a dining room table for 27 years because I just couldn't, I was so tired of it. And it was beautiful, but I was tired of it. I just couldn't see buying a new one because we had spent so much money on it. So very good lesson, very good tip.
I think it's a new day, too, because back in the day, Yvonne, I mean, all of us, back in the day, you bought that expensive furniture. You saw it as an investment. You were going to have it your whole life. And so we spent a ton of money on really expensive furniture, and then guess what? My taste changed. So
Yes.
I think you have an excellent point, and I think the younger people who grew up in a disposable, environment understand that you may not have it forever.
Absolutely.
But it's something that we've had to learn because things have changed. But our grandparents, once they bought something, they had it forever.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Good point. Good point. All those sorts of things, like the wedding registry and all that. I sort of was on the tail end of that. And I have so many Waterford glasses, wine glasses. Well, first of all, ladies, they're not big enough for the pour that I enjoy. And they have gold rims on them.
You can take the club out of the girl. No, you can't.
Actually, you can't. And they have gold rims on them, and you have to wash them by hand.
Yes, exactly.
What was I thinking? So they sit in a pretty cabinet, and now I get to look at them. But even in the other house, they were resigned to a cupboard, closed cupboard. Nobody even saw them. And so those are excellent points. So if somebody wanted to do something today, like after this podcast ends, if they wanted to do something to sort of change their style a little bit, something they could do really quickly, Yvonne, what's something you would suggest?
Pillows. Change your pillows. Change your pillows. Change your throws. Makes a very big difference. It's like putting jewelry on something you're wearing. And also learn how to paint a piece of furniture. I think learning how to paint something, it's just like magic. Paintbrushes are magic. I had mahogany 18th century chairs and didn't want to get rid of them, so I painted them. And oh my goodness, my readers, I had so much backlash and people just having such trepidation about doing that. But they were in such good shape, I couldn't get rid of them, and I loved the style. So they went from mahogany to a very chippy, pretty neutral color. And I just think if people learn how to paint something, they just have the sky's the limit of what they can do to change their decorating style.
Excellent. Anita, do you have a quick takeaway for today, a quick tip on changing?
Well, I do, and I think my tip is more about kind of figuring out what your style is, or if you want to go in a new direction. I think my suggestion would be to go on Pinterest and create a board called Your Style, and then because we have all these pins on Pinterest, and maybe we pin something just because of one small element. But on this board, you would pull out rooms where you like the whole room. And then you're just pinning all these rooms. And then usually when you go back and look at all those pins, there's a common denominator. There's a common feeling. And that's kind of how you can kind of figure out what style you really love, what you're really drawn to. And that also pulls out I'm starting with this. It kind of frees you up from saying, it frees you up from what you have now to focus on what it can be. And then once you kind of realize, I really like cottage style or coastal or whatever, then you can start incorporating those things and put a plan together to transition slowly over time, or whatever your budget whatever you can afford.
Inevitably, with the new year come wellness goals. One very effective and easy to reach goal is to add Dose to your wellness regime. Dose is expertly formulated organic wellness shots that support your liver in one delicious drink. Formulated with ingredients clinically shown to support liver health. Potent turmeric, milk thistle, and ginger. There's 0 sugar and 0 calories. Did you know that your liver performs over 500 special functions? Since I learned all that my liver is doing, I started with Dose to support all those vital functions. I take a shot of refreshing Dose 2 times per week to combat everyday toxins from food, meds, alcohol, and unhealthy air. Since starting with Dose about a month ago, I am definitely feeling an overall improvement in my health. So if you want to give Dose a shot and invest in your health like I have, Dose is offering DTT listeners 15% off your first order, plus an additional 15% off if you subscribe for a monthly delivery. That's 30% off your first order. So go to dosedaily.co/DTT and use the code DTT. That's dosedaily.co.co/DTT and use the code DTT. Green Chef is a delicious delight any time of year, but especially during the holidays. What a wonderful vision to behold as the Green Chef boxes on your doorstep. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating well. And it makes eating well so easy with plans to fit every lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat a more balanced diet. So let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season. And if you've got guests coming, shop Green Bundles. They're now available at the Green Market. It's your one-stop shop for nutritious grab-and-go breakfasts, including vegan options, brunch kits, wholesome lunches, ready-to-eat snacks, veggie sides, and more. You can feel your best this December and do your best with Green Chef because they offset 100% of the delivery emissions as well as 100% of the plastic in every box. Go to greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT and get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT to get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months.
I love that. And that is exactly, you didn't give me that tip, but I feel like you maybe gave that to me, in a dream state, because that's exactly what I did when we started this house. I mean, maybe someday we'll get to talk about it, but there was a long dial up to us actually purchasing this house because of the older gentleman who lived here. But anyway, it took a long time. And so I had a long time, a year and 8 months to get ready and develop the style of what I wanted this house to look like. So I created a Pinterest board that it's home ideas, my soulful home ideas. And it's really my favorite board. And what I would do periodically, I would just add things as I saw them, or maybe I would be looking for a specific, element to the house, like a sink or something like that. And then I would go through it and I would edit it. And first of all, that's a really cheap way to decorate and undecorate, because I just edited it down. And then I would look through it, and honestly, just looking at the board, I was like, yes, like this is what I want my home to look like. Mm-hmm. This is the feel that I want. And I was able to curate it, through these pictures that were, obviously so available and free. And then, get the color scheme and all of that. And, I didn't emulate piece by piece any of those rooms, but it was more the overall feel and ideas and inspiration and jumping points. So good idea.
Okay, thanks for listening. We're so excited you joined us, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Happy decorating.
Hey there. If you're loving our podcast like we're loving our podcast, we would love you to rate and review us. Head to iTunes to do that. It's easy, and it would mean so much to us. And if you do rate and review us, we're going to enter you to win a fantastic giveaway. The details for the giveaway are in the show notes for this episode, and you can find the show notes at decoratingtipsandtricks.com.